Hey guys, we're gonna go over shoulder presses real quick. Shoulder presses, and we're gonna throw in front raises. They're both delt exercises. So, you know, these three heads of the delts, which we consider your shoulder muscles. But the movement pattern is an overhead press. So, this one isn't near as confusing as the rows, but let me give you just a few important pointers just to make sure that it's as good as it can be. So we want to make sure that we're only coming down, unless it's with real light weights. If you're using some pretty heavy weights, we only want to come down to about ear level. Okay? So that's the first thing, ear level with the weights. Unless we're doing some sort of push press where we can use the legs, but then we can come all the way down to the shoulders, and I'm going to use my legs to help me get the weight up. But if we're isolating the shoulders, then you're just coming down to about ear level, okay? The other thing, make sure, you know, when you're top heavy like this, you want to make sure you have your belly button pulled in and your abs tight, because you don't want that to be the weak link in the chain. If you're kind of unstable in that midsection, that's going to throw the shoulder off, and at some point in your shoulder press, that's getting tiring. Some point in your shoulder press, you're going to move just a little wrong because of this being unstable. You're going to move just a little wrong, and it's going to throw you back or forward or out, and your shoulder's not going to like it, and you're going to be in a bad way. So you want to make sure that this is not the weak link in your chain. Keep the belly button pulled in, abs tight. The other thing, you want to make sure that the elbows are not back. You've seen maybe, you know, if you're used to doing resistance training, or especially like at a gym, you know, you've been around a gym, you've probably seen people do these behind the neck barbell shoulder presses, where it's with a barbell, not a dumbbell, but a barbell. And the bar's here. You can replicate that with the dumbbells by bringing it back here. Now let me say, you don't want to do that. It's not good. Even if it feels fine, like, oh no, I'm good, my shoulders are built up enough, I can do behind the neck shoulder presses. No, that's not the whole story. The way it feels is not the whole story. Typically it is, you know, if it feels okay, like squatting low, if it feels okay, do it. But with this, you know, and a few other things, with this, with the rotator cuff, the way the shoulder is built, you are slowly just scraping and wearing away at a couple of the rotator cuff muscles when you do this. And the heavier it is, the worse it is. But even with relatively light weight, this is not where you want to be. So make sure then that the elbow is just slightly in front of the shoulders. Make sure it's not behind the shoulders. So right here. Doesn't have to be out here 45 degrees, doesn't have to be in front, because I've heard people say it has to be 45 degrees, but if you look at the way the shoulder's built, it doesn't have to be here. Does your shoulder love this motion the best? It's called scaption. Yeah, it does, but being back here is fine on the shoulder. It's when we come back here where that's like the limit of the joint and it really doesn't like it, even if it feels okay. So that's shoulder presses. We have front raises, which is another exercise that you'll see specifically for the delts, and just kind of a similar move, and that's here. Just like this. We typically do it with one dumbbell because even our lights, you know, if you have those ideal weights that we've talked about, if you have those lights, then 2 lights is probably too heavy. So here's a front raise. What you want to try to do is make sure that the elbow gets as high as the shoulder to make it effective, if not higher. Make sure the descent takes longer than the ascent. And try to, as far as a compensation pointer here, try to make sure that you don't shrug. Okay, that weaker side you might find you shrug on, and you want to nip that in the bud. Or if it's a thing that has budded and blossomed and it's a real thing, then let me know, and maybe I can give you a couple pointers to fix that. But to test, look in the mirror with a weight, because it's probably not going to happen without a weight unless you've had, recent shoulder surgery or something like that. Just make sure with your weight that shoulder doesn't shrug. All right, because we don't want to make that worse. We want to fix it. So those are your shoulder presses and front raises, and we will see you very soon.